Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices in our segment now called Hot Topics. And our hot topic for this week is, should black folks lock and load? In other words, should we all be packing to stop some of this nonsense that's happening to our kids? I mean, take for example, and I know you all know about what happened to the young kid, I think, was it in Missouri?
Yeah.
Where the 68-year-old man decided, hey, I'm going to shoot him. And I not only shoot, I shot him once, but
Twice.
I shot him twice.
Yeah.
And at some point, are black people going to get tired of being at the other end of a barrel over and over again? And do we have a responsibility to stop that? How do you stop it? Do you load up? Okay, open. Hot topic. Go for it.
Wow. You know, I think there's several of us on this couch, maybe 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, who has a gun. You don't have one?
I don't have one.
Okay.
And I ain't got one.
Never had one.
Well, I got enough for Chris and
I have one. And,
Oh my goodness.
and this whole situation, whether we need to lock and load, really puts black folks in a strange position, because even if we defend ourselves, there is a likelihood we're going to get arrested based on how the behaviors of police officers are, how the law is twisted. We've had situations to where black folks were involved in a situation to where, again, they were defending themselves, but they're the ones that get arrested. So it's a duplicity here, whether we need to get locked and loaded, knowing that we're going to probably spend some time in jail.
But I think, when you asked that question, and when Caleb talked about what he talked about, look at Fred and I, 2 black males from both North, okay? And neither one of us have guns. Now, I'm not saying that happens today, because the South and their love for guns has infiltrated to up north. I mean, I talk to people all the time up north who are talking about, yes, we want to get a gun too. Okay. But when I was there, and probably when Fred was there, that was not the norm.
Well, when they'll be in trouble, I'll just use me as an example. I've always been against guns. But if they keep killing our kids and getting away with it over and over and over again, maybe at some point I'll change my mind and join you all and say, let's
Right.
get guns and stop this.
He'll be like that 84-year-old guy. He
that's-
gonna shoot some people.
Yeah, that's the point you don't want. I don't think that's the point they want us to get to. Because as you recall, in the 60s, when the Black Panthers loaded up,
Right.
they became concerned about guns.
yeah, they changed the gun laws
They
quick.
changed the
Yeah.
gun law quick.
Yeah. After slavery, in the black codes,
They couldn't have a gun.
blacks were not allowed to own guns.
Right.
So they had that fear of us with guns. They have no problems when we're killing each other, obviously, because you don't get the same attention when 5 kids are killed in Chicago or somewhere else. But I'm not saying this is what we should do, but we got to make this example as blatant and clear as we can. If you're going to kill our black kids because you're afraid of them, then maybe should we start killing white kids?
But we don't have a leader to be able to direct us there. You might do it, or I might do it, but will all of us do it? And that, to me, is where the problem comes in.
Okay, we have a guest. We have a guest in the studio. She's going like that. No, you're saying no. We shouldn't do that. No. Okay.
Well, okay, so when I had gone out to the range to go practice, okay, and usually I'm the only black woman, the only black person at the range, right? There is a certain spirit in the air when I show up and I'm pointing, right? And it's kind of like, ooh, we're not expecting this, right? And you shared a story where you had you had your gun and took it in somewhere, and they said we don't allow guns, and you took it back to the car. But all of a sudden, that spirit of concern shows up where you are, because they said this man got a gun.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
that there's always going to be a spirit of concern when black folks show up with guns.
Well, let me
Okay,
ask this question.
let me take it another. Just go ahead, and then I'll take this.
I was just going to ask, are you insinuating because when black folks have a gun, then there's an element of concern?
Well, I think it's not necessarily an element of concern, but becomes an element of, okay, we all want to be calm around here. We don't know how good of a shooter she is. So can we all just get along?
Yeah.
You know, then you had the same thing,
Yeah.
you know, when you went to that restaurant,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, can we all just get along?
Yeah, that's the spirit there.
And if we walk down the street with, you know, black T-shirts, we'll give them a show. Black T-shirts, black jeans, and AR-15s. I bet you that particular day, it's going to be quiet.
Let me take this a different scenario. Maybe they want us to. Maybe they want us to, because they outnumber us. And if we get in a shootout with them, they know now that they can eliminate us. Take Black Wall Street. Those brothers fought. Those brothers fought, and they were doing okay until the white folks brought the planes. And now you had, I think, at the most 350 blacks against almost 10,000 whites
Right.
with guns. And you know what the result was. We could be proud that they stood up and they fought. They said, we're not taking this. You're not going to lynch that boy. And they meant it. But what's the end result going to be if we all lock and load?
Well, it's always going to be an issue to where, what are we willing to give up? What are we willing to give up? These school shootings, as we discussed earlier, those are usually happening in suburbia, America, okay? And I sit back and wonder, I haven't seen this happening in the urban areas. And it becomes a how come? Is it because when you go into urban areas, there are more questions asked as to, we haven't seen you here around here before. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Who's your mom? There's a lot more questions being answered that are being asked. But I think that all in all, the majority of America, they have an immediate concern about black folks getting guns.
Well, yeah, I'm sure of that, but I still wonder if we all lock and load, they're going to lock and load, and what's going to be the result of that?
I think, and again to your point, I think it is regional, it's cultural, and I think it's southern, and so I grew up around guns, and I think a lot of people in the South grew up around guns. Hunting and fishing is just something that we did growing up, and so I think there's a comfort level, and I also think there's an expectation. I know my expectations when I walk in the HEB. If there's 100 people in the HEB, I know 98 of them are carrying guns.
Why do you want to hunt an animal?
It's just, I mean, again, it's something that you just grew up with.
Yeah, maybe they should come up with a way where animals can have guns too, so they can shoot back.
Right, but I mean, again, it's something that you grow up with. You don't. I mean, it's cultural.
Well, is it?
But you hunt the gun. I mean, you hunted the animal to eat, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you eat it. You don't just kill it and eat it.
You went out there to enjoy shooting that poor little deer.
Right.
You enjoyed that. You enjoyed that.
Hey, up north, we went to the supermarket.
Look, it's the same thing. You can make the same case. Oh, you caught that poor little fish. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what? It's again, when you talk about
Jesus said it's okay to eat fish. He didn't say it's okay to eat cow or deer.
It's cultural, and so.
But is it a good? Because cultural does not make it good.
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm not gonna say that because something is cultural, it makes it good. But what I am gonna say is that it's just in the South, the gun culture is different than it is in the North, and so there's a different level of comfort. And another thing is you're primarily most of your military bases are in the South, and so you have a lot of retirees in the South. You have a larger military community in the South. In addition to it just being cultural, again, it's something that we're just comfortable with.
Okay.
other point was that, and to Dr. Chatwell's point, and my wife and I, we will both carry. We'll open carry, not just concealed carry. We'll open carry.
You open carry?
We will open carry. There's nothing like putting that sucker on my hip in a holster and walking into the store, walking into the restaurant.
Make sure I don't say anything to get him angry.
But I mean,
he got an advantage over me. I ain't got
but I mean, it's something you do. You walk in there and people see it. And like I say, it's a whole, it is, like Dr. Chatwell pointed out.
The atmosphere changes.
The whole atmosphere changes.
Is that
because now
good?
It's the equalizer.
Is it good? It's not a good atmosphere.
I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Okay. Do you think of teachers in the classroom and all the students with guns?
Okay. Well, that's different. You don't, all the students carrying guns, that's not going to happen in high school.
Well, open carry.
No, I'm not saying kids don't open carry.
The way I teach, the way I taught,
Are you talking about college?
He's talking about college.
I'd have been shot. I
No,
wouldn't teach today.
Guns are banned on educational institutions.
Yeah, but so now you're ready to make a little
No, we're not in Texas, right?
You're-
Not
you're-
anymore, right? They changed the law so they can carry in Texas universities now,
No, yes or no?
right? Did they change the law?
No, you can't. You can't. They have a sign at.
You have to tuck it away.
Yeah, they took it away. So you can conceal carry in the universities now.
Well, I wouldn't teach. I'm glad I retired. I wouldn't teach because one of the white kids would have shot me.
I mean, but most people aren't just going to. I mean, the average person who has a concealed carry permit, which again, Texas, you no longer have to have a permit or a license to conceal carry.
No,
But
you just get a gun and
right,
go.
you just
start
get a
shooting.
gun and carry. But most of the people who
Craziest thing I ever heard.
carry that and who have that responsibility aren't running around killing folks.
Oh, but no. Okay, that's not totally true because they don't become irresponsible until they do it. Now you got dead folks. Okay, they're responsible as long as they're not killing, but you have no way of knowing which one out there is going to finally go off and go in a school or in a church.
Well, I mean, no, you have no way
or
of knowing that.
shoot a little kid because he comes on his porch.
Right, but
That guy was probably.
But Fred, you have no way of knowing when somebody's going to hop in their vehicle and just head-on collision with somebody else. You know what I mean? You have no way of knowing. And so, but again, for the most part, there are more guns in this country than there are people.
That's a problem.
And so the thing is, if the scenario that you're envisioning, it was true or it came to pass, then you have thousands and thousands of gun deaths daily. So for the most part, people aren't just going out there and taking pot shots at other people.
You tell that mother to the young boy who got shot on the porch, okay? You tell that to her mother. You tell that to Abrams'
Right.
son who got
I can't
shot
because
and
the
killed.
person, while
They had guns,
while
okay?
it was tragic, and
It's okay?
No, while it was tragic, that man was again. So what I'm saying is he didn't go out. He's not. You don't have the average person is not going out looking for trouble with a gun.
Taylor, they only become not average after they do it.
They were
Before that,
already
they're
not average.
No,
You
before they do-
already have to have something wrong with you if you something's already wrong. So you can blame that on the
Now
the
you
mental
making
healthcare
this, now
system.
you're making this stupid governance point.
I'm not
It's all
making
mentality.
I'm not
It's
making a
all
governor's
mentality.
point.
Has
But
nothing
what
with
you're
guns.
saying is 0 guns. What I'm saying is the subject of today is that black folks need to
Okay, yeah, let's get
locked
back
and
to the
loaded.
subject.
And
Okay.
so to that point, I am for black folks carrying guns, and I don't think it's going to cause a race war. I don't think black folks going to run out there and start shooting people. And I think that for the most part, black folks are going to be with black folks carry guns. It's an equalizer. That's all it is.
You've
It's an
been quiet.
equalizer.
What you think?
I'm just wondering what the next phase is. Will we, forget about Blackett for a minute, Americans in America, are we going to be able to deal with the Second Amendment? Are we going to be able to deal with us not being a responsible society where people aren't safe coming to our country and the people who are in our country are not safe?
Well, you know how I feel about the Second Amendment.
I know. That's why I said. That's why I pointed to you.
It needs
But
to be
my
radical.
point
It
is
needs to be
that I'm trying to
abolished.
figure out from our panelists how we feel about what's going to happen with the future. With the future as it relates to America, the future as it relates to blacks. what is really going to happen.
Okay, let me.
One of the things, let me say real quick.
Uh-huh.
I saw a video that kind of gave me a sense of hope. I believe that our Generation Z, which are the 18 to the 29-year-olds, they've had enough. They're looking at this situation from a whole different vantage point. They know that everybody on this panel and in our studio audience, we're going to be gone. So whatever mess that's going on out has been given to them. And they're already speaking out. They have no problems. Kids have no problems walking out of schools because of mass shootings. They're already saying that 70, I forgot where I seen the stat, but supposedly 70% of the Gen Zers are not voting Republican. And there's a reason why politicians are trying to take away TikTok. It's because when you go into TikTok, these Gen Zers have a lot to say about everything, and it's not nice. They've got grave concerns. They've got grave concerns. So my sense of hope is that these Gen Zers are going to take this stuff seriously, get out and vote, and do what they need to do to make this country safe for them.
Thank you.
Well, that I hope you're right, but it's a hope only, because that does not seem to be happening in this country. I was going to say, you asked, what's the future look like? Well, let's look at the progression. When I was in high school, I know it's a long time ago. Don't look at me like that. I know it's a long time ago.
I'm just looking at you.
I've been there.
I was just looking at
I've
you.
been there. It was a long time ago. But, two guys would fight, boom, boom, boom. And the next day they'd be hugging.
Right.
And so we've just progressed to now where they carry guns. When I was in high school, we never had the fear that someone's going to come in and shoot. Now, if it's gotten to the point of guns, addressing your position, if it's gotten to the point of guns, what's it going to be 30 years from now? What are we carrying bazookas or what?
Again, I'm putting my faith and prayers into the Gen Zers, because this situation that we have going on right now is going to impact them more. Just think about, they got the guns, right? Then you got these governors disrupting higher education, what can and cannot be taught on those campuses. So programs are being removed for them, and they're getting tired of it. I had a conversation with my son. He says, "You know what, Mom? It's getting bad to where I don't know what's going to happen next." And then I heard something else, which is a little bit different. So we had the opportunity of remote work, working from home. Supposedly, a lot of corporations here in the United States are thinking about sending those jobs overseas, right? And so what's going to happen? You got all these people who have worked from home who could become unemployed because the jobs have been sent overseas to where they can pay the folks in India, China, and wherever less money.
Okay, we're about to wrap up. We'll start over here. Closing remarks. You could do it either on the religious topics or this lock and load.
I don't know. First of all, I'd like to thank Caleb for talking about the leadership. I think that's very important that we have talked about over time. So whether or not it's from the religious standpoint, I'm hoping that we can convince our ministers that they do need to be leaders, that we're not seeing them as leaders, and that we need them to be leaders. And I believe that we have, through Elder Bryant, somebody that we might be able to start with the AMA Church. Now, one caveat I will say to that is that that's where religion will come in, because the Baptists won't want to get with the AMEs, and whoever else, the Episcopals, won't want to do this, and that's where our problem is going to come in.
Mr. Cape.
I get, you know what, as far as the subject earlier today, again, I do thank Elder Bryant, and I don't know if I should say this, but he he's the real deal. And so when I meet a lot of elders and pastors, I'm a little bit hesitant. But he's the real deal. And so, and I want to thank him for being here. I want to thank him for sharing his knowledge and his wisdom. And again, if anyone could provide that leadership, I do think that he's one of the people that could definitely provide that leadership. And again, to the local pastors, again, we just get your folks out there and get them into those schools and get them into mentorship programs, and we can really change the dynamic. And when you change that dynamic, it changes everything. It changes being able to teach those kids stuff that's not being taught in school, being able to teach them responsibility, and being able to teach them civics. And so you don't have kids that go out there that feel isolated or alone or understand their civic responsibility. And so they don't take a gun, which leads to the second subject. They don't take a gun and take a gun to school, take a gun out and shoot somebody else. And so that's important to have that kind of engagement with your church members going into those schools. And so, and again, I guess that covers both subjects for me.
Okay, Doctor.
Well, this baby boomer has a lot of faith in our Gen Xers, Gen Zers, in that they see what's going on. They are talking about it on TikTok. And I think that through their activism, that a lot of what's wrong in the United States can be turned around for the betterment of the community.
Okay. Well, thank you all. We definitely want to thank Elder Brian for being here with us, and we want to thank you for tuning in. And please, we would like to get your comments. So you can go to Contemporary Black Voices, or if you watch us on YouTube, you can make your comments. We only know what you're thinking if you respond to us. And please, anyone out there think that we're suggesting that black folks go out and shoot white folks. We're not doing that at all. And so we want to thank you for tuning in to Contemporary Black Voices. Until the next time, we're telling our story, our way.